think she's saying that word is and that word is but, you know? And what else is super helpful? Just having them written up there.
She did a whole thing where she had words written out. It was about the US government, the British government, and the Swedish government. And so she started with like, okay, US has a president. And we like had our picture and she was like saying it all in Swedish, but it was kind of a cognate president. And so we like put that up and then went over and did all of them on the board and like had it very visually in front of us, which was helpful.
And it was like aligned too, so like president was on the same line as
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister.
Yeah, and yeah,
Huh.
it was really cool. By the end of it, we were speaking Swedish. By the end of like 45 minutes,
That's cool.
it was pretty cool.
Speaking Swedish for those 30 minutes. But I can't speak any Swedish now.
I think I still have those sentences that we learned. Yeah, like Storbritannien är statsminister, men USA, I never learned how to say USA are president.
Wow.
Great Britain has a prime minister, but the United States has a president.
That's impressive.
And one of the things that I was also thinking about that too is that like we need to like instill word consciousness. We need to instill like the interest in them because I'm really interested in languages. So like that made it easier for me to learn. Like, and I have, you know, I guess a few languages background. So like some of it sounded like French to me and some of it sounded like Spanish because it was like, you know, kind of, I don't know, it sounded like Latin or Greek based, or I never know which one is which, but it sounded like the same bases.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think just instilling interest in our ELLs, like that. Hey, it's really cool that you are going to be learning 2 languages, but you also need to like get interested in the fact that you're learning 2 languages, or else you're going to check out.
That reminds me of post 10, which like sociocultural theory and like instilling a need to speak a language as a desire to even learn
I'm
it.
excited to read about that.
I also think that's just something that we've like learned throughout these classes. Like, if someone has a need to learn it, like a social need or a work need, then they're gonna be more inclined to learn it, like even more quickly because you need it, and it's not just like, oh, maybe I'll learn this, but like it's not like Spanish class in high school for me where it's like, I don't really need this, but I'm trying.
And I guess like choosing vocabulary and like choosing academic pieces that they're interested in to learn.
I think that academic's harder too,
Yeah,
because like,
academic language, but you could still do like a nonfiction thing on soccer. Or,
yeah,
like whatever they want.
or,
to
like
learn
why do
about.
you need the academic language if all you're gonna do is speak socially?
That's true.
Yeah.
I can see people thinking that way. Where and when I use this?
I think to just to sound smarter. Like I know, I mean, I plan on using academic Spanish, but I don't have it as much, and I definitely am less intelligent in Spanish when I try and convey a message because I don't have those modals as well down, and I don't have those. What were some of these words were like?
I was reading mine.
The words that either lessen the effect or strengthen it.
Quantifiers.
Quantifiers, yeah. I don't have those as handily in my brain, so I'll either like avoid sentences that say that, so then I'm not conveying that message that I want to say, or I just say it without those quantifiers, and then it takes away from the actual or my actual feeling of it. So I don't know. Yeah. Which I thought was interesting too, like the what is it, like the mortar? I thought the brick and mortar like top theories.
Will you remind me what that is?
Somebody can help me a little because I kind of forgot what it is too a little bit. So like the brick stuff. See, okay, all of these topics, I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's just me and all of these like housing or like construction or whatever, like scaffolding and brick and mortar and threshold. Like, those aren't helpful terms to me. I don't know which is more important or what is more detailed, which, I don't know what brick and, is mortar the stuff that goes in between?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which one is brick? Is that?
So bricks are the ones where they're technical, where it's like go specifically with a discipline. So for science, like photosynthesis or respiration or something. Like
They have
like
specific.
academic language for the specific subjects. That's
Okay.
what the bricks are. And then the mortars is like words that you would use to connect ideas, like maintain, represent, reflect.
Oh, see,
Like-
I have it as the opposite. Maybe that was my misunderstanding of what a brick.
That would make sense
Mortar.
because the stuff that comes like that.
Puts it together.
That puts it together, so like the.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So those are just like, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't have the mortar in Spanish.
Yeah.
Oh, and somebody said that they remember, I think it was you, Lisa, you remember being explicitly taught because.
Yeah.
Do you remember,
Uh-huh.
do you remember that lesson?
I think it was just in a lot of things. I had to explain my reasoning, so like give an answer, and then the teacher would be like, okay, because,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would say because, blah, 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 like a why answer.
Yeah, because I can see it in the third graders at my practicum, like that's, I mean, must have been one of the only connectors that they've really learned so far,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of run-on sentences with like because,
Oh yeah, I've heard
because,
this a lot too.
and
I think because it's just like a big word for like school, because like in kindergarten, it's like fill in the sentence and then like because I like tacos.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
used a lot. So.
yeah, so I guess we did explicitly learn it in English.
Mm-hmm.
Through like sentence frames and stuff.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I
So-
just don't remember it.
Yeah.
It was a long time.
There was a lot of talk about academic language in this, and looking at like, so it said summarize the features of academic grammar. Did everyone have to do that one?
No, I think
Nope.
that was just yours.
Oh, okay.
But that was interesting.
So like different types of academic grammar and like give an example of like how it might play out in a classroom. And one of them was long sentences, and so like in textbooks, you know how like textbooks can have these giant sentences that like look like paragraphs, but they're sentences, they're like correct sentences or whatever. And I was talking about how difficult that is for a student to look at that and be able to break it down and like know what it's saying, because it's so long that it's like you kind of check out after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was super interesting because like even now when there's long sentences, I'm like, why in the world would I ever like pay attention to that? And then to think of like ELL students looking at these textbooks that you use in school. Like I remember having like textbooks in elementary school for certain things, and it's like the longer sentences are so hard to break down. And I thought that was really interesting because I was like, oh yeah, like I totally know what it's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like one aspect of academic grammar that could be like hard for ELL students or just any kind of student.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember learning to read? Because I remember learning to read and getting so frustrated because by the time I got to the end of the sentence I was working on, I didn't remember how it started.
What the beginning of it was, or like what you were actually reading.
The story made no sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had that happen to me for a long time, just because of all of the learning difficulties like I've talked about. And so like for reading, for me, like I would read and I would have absolutely no idea what I read by the end of the book or by the end of a chapter or like even a paragraph. And so we'd have to do all these like, okay, now like write what you learned. And I would have no idea what I learned because I wouldn't be able to
To focus on
understand what I was reading. And it was really frustrating.
Do you remember like what like skills you were taught in order to break it down or in order to?
Like all of the little things that you learn in school, like there's the like bookmark with the like one little square so you can focus. You I don't know, it's like a cutout,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you can like make it longer or shorter, so you can like look at like one word and just like focus on that one word.
Mhm.
I remember using that, or like cutting things up, so like doing like little chunks at a time and then like writing what you like understood and then like going and writing it again and understand. And then just like reading out loud. It was really hard for me to read out loud, but it also helped me like hear what I was reading.
Mhm.
And I actually listened to a lot of audio books, which I think actually helped me because I could look at the words and I could listen to it, and then I think that helped me like gain proficiency.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I hated reading, and so my mom was like, "That's so sad." So she would read to me a lot, so I could like read along with her and read with her. And, but then also like audiobooks made me like reading,
Mhm.
and so then I was like, "Oh, well, I can actually like, look at this book and know what I'm reading." So those are actually good tools that you could use for like ELL students.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Because it did say that one of the best ways to, was it build vocabulary or just gain proficiency was by a lot of reading. Or one way to develop academic vocabulary is through just extensive reading.
I think the more you read, the better, the easier it is, and the more you can enjoy it. I think like